guys, welcome back to Living Land Ranch. My name is Mackenzie and we are going to do another farm tour. This week is going to be mainly the garden because that's where I put a lot of our focus this week, is in preparing the beds, getting mulch in the walkways. There's been a lot of progress. So we planted some strawberries this week in here. We also did some bed prep. So we had in these beds right here, there's 4 beds right here. We had a garden mix and some other cover crop that we cut down, and then we lightly, we don't have like a tilther or anything, so we put our tiller on the lowest setting and just mix it in. And then just today we had some friends over that helped us transplant a bunch of our onions, onion starts. So we have a whole bed of onion starts right here. This bed is going to be onions that's direct seeded into the ground as a succession. Some reds and some yellows. We got 2 more beds here ready to go, and it's so nice to have it getting cleaned up. We also started our compost, our own compost. We got our soil test back from Redmond's Agriculture, and our nitrogen is pretty low, which makes sense. Our soil test was 6 inches down. It was our second season growing in this space, and before that wasn't really used. So we have this tarp system here, and we just added cow manure, chicken manure from our chicken butchering class. We add some of the guts and the blood. That's high in nitrogen, and this stuff is hot. It's currently sitting at about 150 degrees, and Ethan's turning it about once a day right now. And so hopefully we can be able to use that by the end of the season and have some nice nitrogen-rich compost to use in our garden. We've also been working to prepare the ditches and ponds for irrigation. That should be coming in about 3 weeks. We don't have an official date yet. So this weekend my dad is coming over with his Mini X and going to dig out our pond. So Ethan burnt some weeds along the ditch, or along the pond here, and tomorrow he's pulling out these T-posts. We had a fence around here. 3 young kids on a farm. The last thing I need to worry about is somebody going into the pond. So it's exciting to see everything getting cleaned up. Tomorrow or Saturday we plan to move this tarp up to cover the rest of those beds. We had this tarp on these bottom 3 beds for the last year. We didn't use them at all last year, and so we're just gonna move it up, and that way we can start to kill off weeds before we plant in this. This side, plot 3, is more of our summer garden, so we're not really planting in here until mid-May, whereas this side, plot 4, is our spring garden, which is why we put cover crop in there over the winter to get nutrients in the soil as quick as possible. We're really just trying to build soil health, and building soil health takes time, and so it requires us to not be using all of our beds for full production every year. Something else we've been working on this week is right here, our garlic beds, and we planted peas and oats in here to build nitrogen early last fall, and we also planted garlic in here. So the peas and oats have kind of died back, but they need to be terminated. Here you can see we've got garlic there and 3 rows of garlic going down. I think I mentioned last week that we use a website program called heirloom.ag this year to plan out what we're planting where and all of our timing to best optimize our crops and when we're harvesting, and that way we can ensure we have stuff every single week for our CSA members. Which, by the way, we still have CSA boxes for sale. They're on our website, first come first serve, so livinglandranch.com, and you can check that out, and then message me on Instagram or email us if you have any questions. But in our garden, we inevitably will have spots like this. The garlic stopped here. Really hard to show you with this. The garlic stopped here, and we still have a weird 3-foot section here where we didn't have any garlic seed to plant. And so we're leaving it bare, and then come May, or even slightly before, depending on weather, we will fill in those spots at the ends of the beds with flowers. And we did this a little bit last year, and it just makes the garden so pretty. It brings in pollinators. It's fun to cut a few bouquets for customers or for family members or for people who are helping on the farm, and send them home with some fresh cut flowers during the week. So that's our plan. We currently have kind of 2 spots already in the garden that have a little 2 or 3 foot section available that we didn't have seed to finish planting or transplants to finish. So we're just going to fill those with flowers and some color and beauty. Ethan's hooking the irrigation back in. He has it set up to where he can connect it to a hose so we don't have to blow out the whole system every time we use the water, since it's still going to freeze here. But this way we can water in the onion transplants and the onion seeds. This is another area. We have 2 or 3 feet. The onion transplants stop right here. And so we have this area right here that we'll plant some flowers in here in a month or 2. Okay, this is exciting. Our first little spring harvest. This is some, it smells so good. This is some dill from our plant that we planted last year. And I saw it coming up down here. So I'm gonna take this in. Been wanting to make some homemade ranch, and this will be perfect in that. Okay, an exciting announcement about this greenhouse. It is officially 100% planted. There's not a single space in here that does not have something planted. In this bed over here, coming up, this is bed 7. We have mustard seed and clover. That's planted just kind of a space holder. We also have a bunch of baby tomatoes coming up in here in this corner, and I had my friend Demi grab some and put them into these pots, and then I'm going to take them inside and put them in our nursery, see if we can get a head start on some tomato plants that are happy in the greenhouse. Pretty sure most of those are Jasper cherry tomatoes, but they're all over here. 6 right here. We have carrots planted all the way down. We planted those last week. And then here in bed 5, we have peas planted all the way down. And on either end, I'm gonna try to remember this, we have turnips and mesclun mix. Oh, these are radishes on this side. We have radishes on one side and turnips on the other. And then here in bed 4, we have peas down the middle they'll trellis up onto this baling twine that we have hooked up there on a wire. And we will trellis the peas in the middle, and then on either side we have a bunch of different things. We have some radishes, we have some beets, we have some arugula, we have some kale. I think that's it in that row. What's in bed 3? I feel like I missed.
Bed 3, the white Lisbon onions
Oh,
on
yes.
either side.
Onions. Bunching onions.
Bunching onions. Middle is obviously peas. And then we have like 15-ish feet of mesclun mix on either side of the peas.
Okay.
And then on the very end, we have one side is mesclun mix, and then the other side was the half arugula and half kale.
Okay.
Or no, half kale and half
Swiss chard?
Swiss chard, yeah.
Okay. Bed 2 is filled with successions of radishes. These ones down here should be ready in the next week or 2. They're pretty close. And then over here in bed 1, on the end, we have a yellow raspberry planted. What else is over here, babe? In bed 1.
Underneath the raspberries is a wildflower mix.
Okay.
And then, let's see here. So we have raspberry flowers, and then we have chives, cilantro, catmint, comfrey, dill, parsley, and then the end is filled with clover and mustard.
Oh, okay. This greenhouse is full. We also have, these are leeks here in this tray. They'll be going out in the garden soon. And we have another succession of onions in this tray right there. And they'll be going out next week into the garden. Looks good, babe.
Really nice.
Yeah. This is greenhouse 1. This is the greenhouse I did not take you in last week. And we have 4 successions of, there's so many, the whole ground is crawling with spiders. We have 4 successions of spinach here in bed 3. And this one, I got some baby spinach here. It is delicious. I keep coming out here for snacks. Down here on the other side of greenhouse 1, Ethan has been bringing out his turmeric to get some more heat on it during the day, and then he brings all those trays in every night. So this greenhouse will eventually be filled with peppers, green beans, ginger, and turmeric. This is a greenhouse that we're contemplating turning into a nursery greenhouse next year because we're quickly outgrowing our space inside. I'm going to take you in there. There's lots happening in there. In our little nursery. Okay, I'm in our little humble farm stand. It's our carport that Ethan last year added some lights to and some a ceiling and sideboard, some outlets, and we got some displays from my aunt, and we turned this into our farm stand last summer, and it was super fun. But we really wanted to make this our wash and pack station. The vision's kind of like a nice bubbler and a spinner and a drying rack and bins and tables back here with storage for all of our packing, because last year we washed out in the driveway and then packed it inside, and it was just a lot. It was really clunky workflow, and then brought it back out here to our cold room back in that door. So it'd be really nice to turn this into a walk pack station. We have almost everything we need. I think it'd be about $200 in supplies, in like some plumbing supplies and things like that, to turn this into a wash pack station. we'd like to move our classroom in, or our farm stand in here to the classroom. Oh, it's locked. And have it be a dual space area. This is our classroom space. Last Sunday we had a goat cuddling class in here. So I'm cleaning up the floor from that and putting everything back together for classes. But the idea is to turn this space here into a farm stand that we can then put some of our classroom tables out here in the middle, bring the displays in here, push everything out of the way for classes, and bring it out on Saturdays for farm stand days. We open our farm stand on April 20th. So if you're local, come check us out on April 20th from 10 to 1. We will be doing a prayer walk through the garden led by Ethan at 9:30ish that morning. And then we will be following that up with the farm stand grand opening for the year. We should have at least spinach and radishes, some local goods, and we'll be clearancing out some of our local products from last year as well. You don't realize how much you do in a week until you try to recap everything in like a 15-minute video. This one might be a little longer. It doesn't look like it right now because kids have been out here playing nonstop for the last 3 days. It's been so nice. But we moved the swing set from this rock area over here and cleaned up the yard quite a bit. Threw away broken toys, things like that, because in this rock area right here is in front of the classroom. So we're gonna move that fence, open it up, close in the yard, and use that rock area as kind of like an entrance to the classroom and farm stand. So that's gonna be happening in the next couple weeks as we get ready to open the farm stand on April 20th. We're here in our orchard. The kids helped me prune our trees. I know a little late, and I didn't bring a ladder out, but we got everything let down low, and they're starting to bud out. So this is a plum tree. We have a peach tree here, another peach tree, lilac, which is going to be really pretty here in a few weeks. Our apricot tree, which we really cut down last fall, is already blooming. This tree was out of control last year, and we had about 1,000 apricots like that big. So hoping for less quantity and more quality apricots this year. I'm not sure what this tree is. I'm thinking it's one of the apples that we planted a couple years ago, but there's no tag on it. It fell off. This right here is our apple tree that was here when we like moved in. This is an elderberry. I believe elderberry need 2 in an area, and so we will be trying to get a second one in here this year. We also have our established plum tree right here, and then we have a bunch of newer trees. We'll see. I don't expect them to produce anything this year. This is a being sweet cherry. That's another one that requires 2 cherries. Require 2 trees, and I think our other cherry tree died, so we're gonna have to get a second cherry tree this year. This is a peach tree from my grandpa. This one right here is a plum. It's a plum tree. This one is a Fuji apple tree. We have another peach tree here from my grandpa. We have a Jonathan apple tree right here. Again, these ones are they're in their 3rd year, so might get some fruit this year, but not expecting much. That's another Jonathan apple. This one is a Gala apple tree. And then over here we have another peach tree from my grandpa. And this is an apricot tree that we cut down, and this little thing's determined to come back. So I pruned it to let it see if it wants to come back. It had never been pruned. It was out of control. Or if it had been pruned, it was several years ago. So it needed to be cut back. We still have the cows in their corral, letting the pasture grow this spring so they have good lush grass this spring to eat. But we did move the chickens to the pasture, our laying hens. Ethan's been moving them every day to new pasture, so they're already like halfway down our pasture. He moved them on Monday, and it's currently Thursday. So these guys are happy. We're getting eggs again, and all is good. I just feel like this is how chickens are supposed to be. Just on fresh grass every day, eating bugs, oyster shells, laying eggs, all the good stuff. And finally, we are in my home. There's the kitchen, and this used to be our dining room. We moved our table out of here, and we're starting seeds in here. This all here is ginger. We up potted our ginger this week. We'd had it in trays like this, and it started to sprout, and underneath here the roots are starting to go through, and so we're up potting. We ran out of pots. We have a friend bringing us more today, and we'll up pot the rest of this. We also have in here jalapenos in 2-inch soil blocks, some herbs I don't think are gonna make it, some artichokes and yarrow. Next week is a big seeding week, so this weekend I plan on borrowing a friend's mini block, and I plan to make a bunch of mini blocks, move with about 1,000 seeds to start, and this is all the space that we have right now with grow lights. So trying to fit as much as we can in a little space until some of this gets transplanted out. I do have cauliflower and cabbage downstairs in the classroom on the window, kind of hardening it off because we're planting it out in about a week and a half, and it's a little colder down there. The sun shines, it's a south-facing window, so the sun shines on it most of the day, and they're really happy down there. But this is our seeding situation. We have a 55 gallon barrel right here in our dining room filled with soil, and this way we can't forget about it. It's just right in the middle of our house. I hope seeing these weekly videos encourages you to go get your hands in the soil, even if you don't own soil yourself. There's so many farmers that I know would appreciate some help this time of year, even weeding, planting. We have so many friends, even people that have reached out to us on social media offering to come help on the farm and just learn, and we don't turn anybody down. There's just a lot happening this time of year, and we think building a community around helping each other, trading, bartering, all that is really important. And so anybody that wants to come be a part of our community, we welcome. And I know so many other farmers feel the same way. And so if you're in a spot where you're not ready to start a garden or can't start a garden where you're living now, look for community gardens, reach out to a local farmer and ask if they could use like any volunteer help, things like that. Even just, ask to be part of their circle, ask if they need help like weeding or seeding, and say that you're just looking to get your hands in the soil. I know that we send produce and meat home just with people who help on the farm because we couldn't do it without a community willing to support us. And so, yeah, I just encourage you to reach out to your local farmers and build a connection with them, because I know that we really appreciate it when people buy into our vision and just want to help. And those are the kinds of people that we will go above and beyond to take care of no matter what. So I encourage you to get your hands in the soil, go get some sunshine, just go lay in the grass. Spring is around the corner, even if it's still a little cold here and there. Depending on where you are, you could be well into spring, but here it's just barely getting nice. And so it's good to get that sunshine on our skin again and just enjoy some fresh air. I hope you guys have a fantastic week. Follow us over on Instagram at The Living Land Ranch to see us day to day. And if anybody has any questions, wants to connect, message me there on Instagram or email me. I'll put both in the description below, and I'd love to connect with you. Have a great week.